back to Africa54. I'm Vincent McCord in Washington. Scientists in Kenya are warning that poor agricultural practices and climate change are decimating bees and other vital pollinators. The UN's Food and Agriculture Organization says about $575 billion worth of annual global food production relies directly on pollinators. Viewers Mariama Diallo reports.
As pollinators, bees, beetles, and butterflies play a vital role in global food production.
Because they are really the free workforce in many crops.
Meaning that bees act as agents of pollination, transferring pollen grains from male to female parts of flowers. As a result, seeds are produced. But scientists say the creatures are threatened by a variety of factors, including habitat loss, disease, climate change, and pesticides.
All chemicals, and especially pesticides that are applied on a farm, will definitely kill the pollinators. There are other methods people can use to kill the insects that are harmful to your crop, or you ensure that you use those pesticides when the pollinators are not active.
Scientist Mary Mwari studies insects at Kenya's Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization.
Unfortunately, bees are not managed, especially in Kenya, and therefore pollination in Kenya happens by chance.
And because they are not well managed, the pollination is not effective, she explains.
So as a result, we are getting fruits and seeds which are not very quality seeds. Apart from being of very low quality, the quantity is also reduced. This affects the crop production in general.
In an attempt to solve the problem and ensure future food security, Nairobi's International Center of Insect Physiology and Ecology has started a so-called bee health project. Entomologist Sunday Ekezi.
Just like humans, bees have the good and the bad bacteria. So one of the things we do at ISIPE is to look at the good bacteria that they have in their intestine and exploit them for them to use it to enhance and boost their immunity so that they can protect themselves against pests and diseases, against other environmental stressors that are there.
According to the UN Food and Agricultural Organization, almost 75% of the world's crops producing fruit and seeds for human consumption depend on pollinators in some way. Mariama Diallo, VOA News.
After fleeing fighting in their native Ngovu village and taking shelter in a nearby United Nations protection of civilian site in Wau, South Sudan, some South Sudanese have returned to their villages, hoping the peace deal signed by leaders will allow them rebuild their lives.
Ngovu village was a peaceful place to live until conflict erupted in the western Bahr el Ghazal region of South Sudan in June 2000. At a United Nations protection site, some 15 kilometers away in Wau. She decided to leave the camp and move back to her home in Ngovu after the security situation improved and a major cleanup campaign carried out by UNMISS, United Nations agencies and other international and local humanitarian partners in the community. Although the process of rebuilding their lives has been a challenge, Regina, her brother and two sisters, who all live with their mother, are happy to be back.
We don't have any food ration cards because we arrived here late and we were not able to register. So sometimes we get food from the church and sometimes we get it from people who receive their cards and choose to share with us.
40-year-old Maige Lena James was also affected by the conflict. She lost her husband, the breadwinner of the family. But she hopes the country's new peace deal will make things better. Since fighting erupted in the capital, Juba, in December 2013, some 4.5 million South Sudanese have been displaced from their homes. Of these, 2 million have been internally displaced and 2.5 million have sought refuge in neighboring countries.
Well, there are traditions in Africa that some believe need to be revived. Modern fables and folk tales being told at a recent storytelling festival in Nairobi, Kenya, are part of that effort. VOA correspondent Mariam Diallo reports.
Storytellers from across Africa and beyond gathered to revive a tradition they say is dying out. Wangi Wakamanji is a Kenyan storyteller who incorporates poetry and dance into her tales.
Our histories are important to me, and I kind of talked about that a bit in the story that I told on stage, that they connect us to our memories, our ancestry, and they guide us.
Sanjali Jabate accompanies several performances. He plays the traditional kora, or African harp. Jabate hails from a family of storytellers known as griots in Gambia that has kept alive oral histories in West Africa for more than 7 centuries. In the age of smartphones and video streaming services, the art of live storytelling is gradually being lost, according to festival organizer Maimuna Jallo.
I started this journey about 3 years ago, and I traveled to various small villages to look for East African folktales, and nearly everywhere I went, people had no recollection of their own stories.
She says the generation of people who used to tell the stories are now well into old age.
For me, it was really important to see how do we preserve not only the stories, but in particular, the culture of telling stories orally. Because I think it's very different from watching a television program or reading a book. But to have that storyteller in front of you with an audience to be able to interact is something very precious that we're in danger of losing.
The stories address issues shared across African societies such as corruption, greed, war, and nepotism. So if you ever wondered about the folktale, Why Don't Chickens Fly?, it's because the chicken misused all the wealth given to him as king of the sky. When the other birds discovered his wrongdoing, he was banished from the air and became man's favorite food, John Namai told his audience. Mariama Jallo, VOA News.
Well, and that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington, and Wagudo has the last word from Lagos.
Thanks, Vincent. We look forward to bringing you another show next week. ChannelsTV.com is your source for news and other programming. I'm Anne Wawado. Thanks a lot for watching, and goodbye.